Man. So in today's video, we got to talk about Stephen A. Smith checking Jerry Jones about the Micah Parsons situation, man. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys who've been keeping up with Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones, the Cowboys, a lot of you guys know about that situation. A lot of people like Ryan Clark, Des Bryant came out and made videos talking about it as well.
Hey, Micah, what you doing, a message that you sending, the business that you standing on is extremely major, brother. You know, the guys like myself, guys who came before you, we failed. You know, we failed tremendously on standing our ground, you know, due to the lack of knowledge and the lack of support entering a world that we was very unfamiliar with.
You can tell the Jones family wasn't happy with Micah by the things that were being said. But Jerry Jones may have thought he had a deal done in a conversation with Micah, but he knew that wasn't a deal done the right way. And I think Micah had the conversation because he was eager to be a Cowboy. And he actually went in to have a conversation about leadership that turned into that. And it's fair and also right for him to say, involve my agent. And then David Mulugeta was fully ready to negotiate a contract that was going to be one of the richest in the history of football for a non-quarterback, probably the highest. And this was even before all the other deals were made. And then you get into camp and you're hearing shots taken time after time against Micah. And of course, he gets frustrated. And now everybody has a report about what's going on. And so finally he speaks. And here we are. He doesn't want to be a Cowboy anymore.
So, you know, the situation between Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones has been cooking up for a couple of weeks now, man. Even to the point where Jerry Jones came out and was just like, yo, I own you for the next 3 years.
The world would know that I want Micah if they knew what I had offered him, and he knew what, and he knows what I offered him. So the world would know that I want Micah to play on the team and that I respect him for what he can bring to the team. And now, as it turns out, in this particular case, you say, well, what happens? Well, what happens is that we have a contract, and there's this year remaining under the contract. And then in the NFL, I get at our volition to extend that contract another year. We'll pay him like a franchise and another one after that. So we really got 3 years to work this thing out. And it's a basic contract that's there to go. And I did that with Dak, and we couldn't agree. So Dak played his last year of his contract, and then we franchised him. And so it's exactly what happened with Dak. And we moved forward. And of course, ultimately, we got a contract, made Dak the highest paid player in the NFL. So the president is handling it like Dak. But in this particular case, then Micah comes in and plays this year under his contract.
And this is the reason why the Cowboys has been in the situations that they have been, is because, you know, Jerry Jones being stuck in his old ways. And that's what Stephen A. Smith was confronting him about it with the Micah Parsons situation, because he got Jerry Jones to sit down in an interview, as you guys can see in this picture right here. This is Jerry Jones and Stephen A. Smith doing an interview on the Stephen A. Smith show, sitting right across from each other face to face, man. And Stephen A. Smith, he was asking the questions that a lot of people want to know, like what's going on with you and Micah Parsons. And Stephen A. Smith wasn't just letting up like most people would. And, you know, Stephen A. having a relationship with Jerry Jones, he was giving Jerry Jones a little bit more pushback than I've seen with other people who've interviewed Jerry Jones about the situation with Micah Parsons. So let me highlight this clip real quick, guys, and then I'll be right back with some more commentary. Here's a video. And if you can, guys, be sure to hit that like button for me. That really does help my YouTube channel continue to grow. I really do appreciate that.
What exactly happened with you and Micah Parsons that has you in this position where you're so resolute in your stance right now? Exactly what happened?
First of all, I just asked Michael Irvin to grab Micah and come over and let's talk it over.
I agree.
Let's look at it.
I'm talking about what happened last March.
But I'm just saying, that's not resolute.
Okay.
And you have to take my word we did that. But here's my whole point, is that there is no question that we have negotiations, contrary to the agent's opinion that we're not negotiating. Mm-hmm. There's no question. that we are, in the sense that he knows full well what I'll pay. Knows full well, okay, what we'll pay him. So there's no question that that's going. I'm very comfortable with that. Now let's look at the paperwork. I have Micah for 3 more years. I've got him under contract this year. I can franchise him the next year, and I can franchise him the next year. I have him 3 more years. Now, if you summed up what I'm going to pay him through what I'm going to pay him this year and those 2 years, it is much, much, much less. How about 60% of what I offered him? So I'm pointing out that there's a way that you look at it. What is this all about? What is this about?
That's what I'm getting to.
Stephen A., is that I'm going to say 12, 15% of the players in the NFL get 2/3 of the money. So that means that you've got to, when you start talking about these hundreds of millions of dollar commitments to a player, you've got to make sure you're right. One miss in that area makes up for paying 3 or 4 Pro Bowlers that are paid less than that out here. Those are critical things. That's why Dak Prescott's got all put together in the way that it did, with the deliberateness that it did. And that's why it took us 2 years of just these same circumstances to get to his contract. That's with Dak Prescott. That's been my experience.
I'm going to come at you with it like this, because you are my buddy. I'm unapologetic about that. That's right. You don't give a shit about what I have to say half the time. You're totally right. You're absolutely correct, okay? And I don't give a damn about throwing a criticism when I think it's warranted, but I love you. Here's the deal, Jerry. I've been on the record stating, here's where my discomfort lies. Jerry Jones has established himself as the creme de la creme, one of the elite businessmen in the history of sports. $12.8 billion is $12.8 billion. You're worth over $16 billion, according to several publications, okay? Money is no longer your problem, Jerry, okay? All I'm thinking about is, you've been negotiating for decades. You've been negotiating before Micah Parsons was even conceived, was even thought about being conceived. That is a child compared to you at the negotiating table. So for somebody as accomplished as Jerry Jones to sit across from Micah Parsons and engage in any kind of negotiation, how does that make sense to anybody outside of yourself? Because we know he's a football player. You're a businessman. I would not sit across from you at the negotiating table. I would send my representative to sit across from Jerry Jones. I'm not going to try to negotiate with you. I don't have a prayer. What are you to expect from Micah Parsons in that regard? What do you say?
When you've done as much negotiating as I've done, got there by simple miles.
Okay.
Not winning awards, but by simple miles. You know the only way to get things done, there's no bargains. The only way to get things done is get to where you're going, where both parties can live with it. Okay. Both parties can live with it. That's the art. But I know that, and that does show me. I'm the general manager of this team. I'm not the owner. I am the owner, but I'm the general manager, have been since the day we opened. So it is very, very possible, because just like you have advisors, they have advisors. And Micah's got agent.
Yeah, David Mulligetta to be exact.
And that agent is within a phone call of talking about any detail that was there and was available with any detail that was there. We have agreed on how long this is going to be, and we've agreed on the amount of guarantees it's going to be.
You and Micah.
The package is the biggest ever paid a non-quarterback. That's where we are.
Right.
That's where we are.
But, Jerry,
but because a third party, rather than me and Micah, has got to come in. Why? Because he's got to get his fingerprint on it?
Come on, Jerry.
Come on, please. He's got to get his fingerprint on it. All right? You tell me. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Okay?
I'm not challenging
you.
He
wasn't there. Well, I'm just telling you, though. I'm not challenging you either. But there's no need for him to come into this agreement except to look at all of the details of the agreement and all the fine print and all of that. But then he's got to sit here and say, well, is that something that Mike ought to live with? Or should he take playing under this year's contract and be franchised for 2 more years after that?
But Jerry,
which one?
But Jerry, you told me, think about this. Let's backtrack. Last year we're talking, and you're talking about life and how beautiful life is. You know, having purview over the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, being the GM of the Dallas Cowboys, being around young folks, keeping you young. And there's so much stuff that youngsters don't get. And how the world has changed and how you've had to evolve with these changes. Micah Parsons is not 50. He's 25, 26 years old now. He wasn't around. So when you were doing things the way that you have always done it, he wasn't even born yet. He doesn't know. So he comes into this world now. He has representation. They're telling you, this is how business is done these days. All of the other owners capitulate and adapt to that because they recognize these kids are not what they used to be. It's changed now.
Can I interrupt you a second?
Please.
You're not talking to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. You're talking to the general manager of the Cowboys. And so all these teams, owners, may not be involved. But in this case, I am the general manager. That's why I want to do it, and that's why we want to. Michael came in from Saudi Arabia. Called me from Saudi Arabia. Coming in.
Michael Irvin.
Micah
Parsons. Got it.
Coming in, want to talk. Now, he says he didn't want to talk necessarily about a negotiation, but he wanted to talk. Okay? Jerry, can I have your cell number? Mm-hmm. I don't ever give anybody my cell number.
That is true.
I want to give you my cell number. We negotiate, we go back and forth, we come through, we go the next day, we negotiate, get it all done. I get a call. I don't want you to call me anymore. Micah, don't call me anymore.
He said
so
that
we
to
haven't
you?
called.
Micah Parsons said to you, I don't want you to call me anymore.
Don't call me anymore. Don't call me anymore.
After calling you.
That's correct.
And igniting a negotiation, he turns around and exchanging numbers
and negotiating. Don't call me anymore.
And then he called you back and said, don't call. I don't want you to call me anymore.
The agent calls. He says, we need to start a negotiation with Micah. Guy says, well, we have negotiated. We'll send you over the deal. Proverbially, just keep it. I won't tell you where to put it, but just keep it. We're going to start a negotiation. Okay? We've had the negotiation. I stood there on our last day of mini camps talking with Micah. Have your agent call me.
You told him that?
Call me, yes.
You told him that?
Have your agent call me. Have your agent call me. Have your agent call me. Okay? My point is, in the spirit of not doing the old mother-dad deal, how many times have you seen the little rascal so clever go in there and mama told him, you're not going to get it, and goes in to daddy, who only sees him after 5 in the afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner. And he goes back in and says, Mama, Daddy said I could have it. That's the old mom, dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going to go for that shit here. There's not room for a third. There's not room for a third. This will be a good one. This will be a good one.
Are you willing? Not that you have to, because like you said, you got him under contract for the next 3 years.
Thank you. That's all you need to say.
Yeah, but wait a minute. No.
So that's what Jerry Jones told Stephen A. Smith about Micah Parsons' negotiation. And like I said, guys, if you just really listen to the full clip on the Stephen A. Smith show, I'll have the link to that down below. Jerry Jones just kept simply saying, I'm not trying to do this mom and pop deals where, the mom says, don't do this, and then the dad comes and say you can have it, and then the kid wants to come back and want to do this. And he was even saying, at one point, him and Micah Parsons was negotiating on the phone and everything was fine. And then next thing you know, Micah was like, yo, talk to my agent. And then the relationship just got weird after that. And then obviously you just keep seeing Jerry Jones saying, I don't want to do deals with third parties because that's not how he wants to do that deal with Micah Parsons. And he made it very clear, like, yo, I own him for the next 3 years. So it doesn't matter what happens at the end of the day. I got you for the next 3 years under contract, and that's just what it's going to be. It seems like Jerry Jones is trying to sell some snake oil, in my opinion, with the contract. Like he's trying to do something where Micah Parsons is not going to be in his favor, and it's going to be in Jerry Jones' favor. And I think that's why Micah Parsons was just like, yo, you know, I just want to have my agent on this. Therefore, you know, I'm more protected with whatever deal that we can come up with. So yeah, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts about that. Get in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Catch you guys on the next one, and we out, guys. Peace.